How are you? Good afternoon, good evening, good day. We don't know where you're coming from, but we wanted to say hey and welcome to On the Ring Apron, Top Rope Spoilers.
Yeah. What she said.
The master of all things said. As you can see, still having to do this away from our normal location, so you're going to have to forgive the absolutely terrible lighting because we are at the mercy of the hotel that we are in. So give it to us. But as you can see, we are here for Money in the Bank. The theme song, Gotta Get That, which has been the theme song for Money in the Bank for God knows how long. But of course, this is our Top Rope Spoilers. That's Kia on the, I guess, your right, I guess technically my right too. With the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. She's still dancing even though there's clearly no music playing. Either that or I've gone deaf.
It's music in my head.
There you go. And the men's Money in the Bank briefcase being held by the lovely Alyssa over here. You know, she's going to pose like Vanna White here for a moment. You know, just there you go. And that's what it's all about is the Money in the Bank contracts, the two ladder matches for both the men and the women. The winners, of course, receiving automatic championship matches at any time of their choosing for a chance to battle for either the Universal title or for the women's championships of their choosing. But let's go ahead and move into our event here. As always, for those who have joined us before, we begin with our current scoreboard. This is our 5th live event, and currently it's a pretty tight one. You know, no one's really been able to pull out ahead. The OTRAs and Alyssa getting the early edge after WrestleMania, slipping a little bit at Backlash, but then have kind of picked things back up. Kia putting together nearly a perfect Hell in a Cell. She ended up one away from a perfect run. I don't remember off the top of my head which is the one that cost you. But either way, she came within one of running the gauntlet in Hell in a Cell. So myself and the Otras each sitting there with 20. Kia and Alyssa only a point behind at 19. I'm going to move the mouse to my left hand here because I cannot hold the camera and run the mouse at the same time. I am talented, but I am not that talented. But let me go ahead and let's zoom into our first match. As we've done in our what we're going to call our hotel versions of this, is I basically just give the preview and then essentially just let the ladies take it from there, and we'll all give our picks as well as who the Otras have up to this moment. We will open with the United States Championship being on the line. Every match at Money in the Bank, at least as scheduled at the time of this recording, is either a championship match or one of the two Money in the Bank ladder matches. But this one has turned into a what we're calling a flex rivalry, as the current champion, the youngest United States champion in WWE history, as he loves to say, fact, Theory will battle the almighty Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship, a title that Lashley has held on at least 2 other occasions prior to this. Theory has mocked Lashley every step of the way, claiming he can outflex him. He's the hand-picked champion and that Lashley is old news. Can Lashley dethrone the current champ and, you know, make his statement as the almighty truly in play here?
I'm going to put one thing out there. Theory flexed so hard you could see it in his eyes. That's all I'm going to say.
And now you've got to listen stitches. Hang on, let's zoom in on this. Flexing his eye, is that what we're going with here?
He flexed so hard on the last two shows. You can clearly see
pulled
it
a
in
muscle.
His eyes. In his eyeballs.
Bro. She's crazy, y'all. Oh my god.
Okay.
Alright, so for this one, let's see.
Ladies, y'all's thoughts on the matches?
I honestly feel, and I'm giving my explanation, I honestly feel, you know, between the two, I feel like Bobby Lashley, you might think he's old news, or that's at least what Theory has stated, coming from his mouth to everybody's ears that Bobby Lashley is old news. Honestly, I feel like that you are threatened by Bobby Lashley, and that you feel like, first of all, he can flex. Look at the muscles, you know, look at how he is physically put together. He is a beast. And I think Theory is threatened by...
A beast, not the beast.
I think Theory is threatened by that aspect, and you could clearly tell because he had to go again on the second week to prove he was the one that could outflex Bobby. Bobby, on the other hand, I feel like it doesn't matter how many times you ask this man to do something, he could flex, he could wrestle, he could be good on the mic. He's going to do it twice, but the first time was great, the second time is exceptional. So it doesn't matter. In my opinion, I can tell you, I feel like as great of a champion as Theory is, I don't feel like that title being with him is very relevant because he's handpicked, honestly, by Vince McMahon, who got rid of his own kid to bring in Theory.
Ooh, wicked burn.
You want the truth? I'm going to give you the truth. You let Shane go. You let him walk to bring in Theory. I guess you must have thought that Theory was the younger version of your son, and it is what it is. But I feel like, honestly, in my opinion, he's handpicked. It is what it is. But in all retrospect, just because you're handpicked by the boss, that doesn't mean anything in my book. I don't see you keeping that title very much longer. If you're going to lose it, why not to Lashley, who made it relevant? He was the first one that got to hold the new United States Championship. Am I wrong?
I'm pretty sure it was officially MVP, but okay. Close enough.
Wrong with that.
Alyssa, you're up.
I'm sorry. All right, so for this match, I'm also gonna have to lean more towards Bobby Lashley. One, look at him. We zoomed in on. What are we looking at here? Okay. We're looking at the size of his pec to the size of his head. It's the same size. Any man whose boob is as big as his head is concerning. I'd be scared for my life.
Hashtag Bobby Boob. Patent pending.
Fuck you. But no, in all seriousness,
damn! Now I gotta pull the sensor out.
Sorry, I'm a terrible person.
You're fine. Continue.
Don't be like me, kids. But no, in all seriousness though, you sitting over here running your mouth. You sitting over here doing all this extra. Sitting over here, you have to get up there and go flex, take selfies. You're gonna get your ass empty.
There you go.
And honestly, you're doing all that extra. That's
come on, kid, go to flex.
That's a charade. That is making up for the things that he doesn't have. Oh my god. That is oh my god.
Just so y'all know I'm here.
For the things that like you're hiding, you're scared, you're behind like a front, and he's gonna knock the front off. So just like his eye.
So both of y'all are going with Lashley?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lashley.
Okay. I'm also going to go Lashley as well. It makes sense, for the run that Theory has been on. And I'm not necessarily against it. I mean, in terms of a heel run, it's honestly been one of the better ones we've seen in quite some time. And I recall another, although it might not have been officially in storyline, but I can recall another hand-picked person of Vince McMahon's, Cena, who had a very good heel run to open things up as United States champion when he first got into WWE. So it's not like we haven't seen this before, and they've already started, of course, teasing the potential Theory-Cena match later on as they did on his 20-year tribute. But it makes sense for Lashley to win this match. I'm going to go Bobby Lashley as well, and that also gives us all the benefit, potentially, of a Theory DQ as well, which would all net us a win as well. Going with what the OTRAs have picked, and of course, if you haven't looked at our YouTube site, first of all, how did you find this? Because that's how you're watching it. But if you're not already a member with us, be sure to do so. We have new membership plays now, which allow you to be able to show us your support, and at the same time also grants you access to special content, special opportunities to be able to, attend shows or be able to have conversations with us about wrestling that would not be available to our standard subscriber. Also, early access to these videos. So whoever is a member with us is actually getting to watch this 2 hours earlier than everyone else. So you're ahead of the game. But of course, even if you're not a member, you do have an opportunity to view our community vote, which is where you, as our subscribing and our followers, get a chance to make your voice known. So if you haven't voted, go back and do so. But right now, the OTRA is very heavily in favor of Bobby Lashley. 75% of the vote is going with the Almighty, so it looks like we've got a clean sweep across the board.
All confident.
Makes complete sense to me. We didn't show the belt.
Oh, sorry.
I know we didn't bring these things all the way to that hotel for us to not show them off. So if you'll look to the lovely Alyssa to, I guess, all of our lefts, there you go. With our very ugly-looking custom-made Theory plates on the side. I have made wonderful plates in the past, but those are just god-awful. So Lashley, please win so that way I can remove them off of my belt.
There you go.
It's like, those are awful. Moving on to match 2. Alyssa, you might as well hang around because you're grabbing another belt here momentarily. But we're going to move to the Smackdown Women's Championship, where the Blue Brand's top women's title will be on the line, as the defending champion, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, will defend against former best friend, now turned bitter rival, Natalya. Now, we all are well aware of Natalya's legacy and her the history that she has come with throughout her career, because, frankly, she won't quit talking about it.
You mean her lineage?
But there you go. But at this stage, the one thing that has eluded her is an opportunity to go after major championships. In fact, she only has one major title run to her name, and you've got to go back over 6 years to find that. So despite the fact that I don't think any of us would question that Natalya is a first ballot Hall of Famer when she finally calls it a career, championship titles have been something that have not come very often to the student of the Heart Dungeon, and yet it will come in the hands of her former friend Rowdy Ronda Rousey to give her the next opportunity for her to win gold, and it will happen at Money in the Bank. Let's see how this one proceeds. Alyssa, you'll get to start us off with the combo on this one.
All right, so as y'all know, I haven't been watching as long as my counterparts, but I've learned one
And yet
thing.
she stays on score with us. Go figure.
Come on now, it's me. But no, in all seriousness, one thing that I have learned is that she has like 2 moves of doom. 2, 3. How many?
Even Cena had 5.
3. So avoid those things, you'll be fine. But the other thing that I've learned is this woman comes in and kicks ass. So, yeah, if I was her, I'd mind my business and keep my mouth shut. But she doesn't, so she's gonna get her ass beat.
And you stay in your lane.
Oh yeah, stay in your own.
You know why?
There you go. With the shimmy and everything. Kia?
I honestly feel, like it's been stated, this is not the first time I've seen Ronda or Rowdy Ronda Rousey fight and actually win a match, which that's what she's going to do this past weekend. But in my opinion, she has more than one move, despite what Charlotte decided to say about her. She's got more than one move, and she knows how to use all of her arsenal at her whim. She's good with her ring awareness. She was good at it when she was in UFC. She's good at it here in WWE. I feel like, honestly, there is no way she doesn't. Also, what I saw on the week that I saw it, you decided you were going to come out and you were going to be dressed like Ronda and you were going to look like Ronda and you were going to have the stroller. I feel like that was it was a direct insult, in my opinion, to your champion to sit here and bring her kid into it. For anybody that knows, you don't bring children ever. You don't bring children and or husbands into a conversation.
Anytime someone's motherhood ever gets questioned, it typically doesn't end well for the person who's doing the questioning.
I just feel like that for me, I found it to be flattering because you clearly look at her gear and you look at who she is. I feel like she couldn't stick in her lane and stick to what she knew. She had to go mimic her former best friend, which made her relevant in that moment. So honestly, I feel like hands down, in my opinion, as much as we know, I'm not a fan of Natalya. I've never been a fan of Natalya, and Ronda has come in over the last several years, taking this craft seriously, done what she needed to do, did her homework, and literally has been kicking butt and taking names every step of the way. So what's one more to her list? What's one more?
Well, my viewpoint's pretty quick on this one, and then we'll move to the official picks. I'm actually excited for this match, but not for the reason that you might think. I'm only happy that Natalya is getting this title match because that means she's not going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which means there's no chance that she wins it, which means there's no chance that we have to worry about her cashing in on a likable, one of the more likable champions, later on. She ain't cashing in on Bianca, or there was the threat of Naomi and Sasha earlier this year. So, we don't have to worry about that. She gets her one shot, and if she doesn't beat Ronda Rousey, then at that stage, that was her one chance. So now we move to the official picks, keeping it brief. Alyssa, you'll start this one.
It's definitely very obvious. It's Ronda Rousey.
Ronda. I'm going Ronda as well. This one makes no sense for a title change here. Ultimately, even if you play it off that this is going to be, Charlotte's return back, it happens after this match is over. It doesn't happen beforehand. There's no sense here in a title change. Ronda retains.
I don't see any difference. I honestly will agree 110%. If not anything, my review of this match should have given my answer away. It's going to be Ronda hands down, and that is all I have to say.
I think Ronda will do a good job of making Natalya look as strong as possible. But right, even with her 3 moves of doom, how many the over under on the number of discus clotheslines we're going to see in this match is probably about 8. But, it's like you might as well start holding up numbers like Brock's German suplexes. But, you know, and
then
then...
I actually watch that one, like what she puts on.
No comment. The OTRAs are obviously very heavy on Ronda as well, as 87% of our vote. I'm honestly kind of surprised it's even that low, because I really think this one is probably the one slam dunk in the room. And for anyone who can hear in the background, apparently the little one also agrees with our decision, because he's been jolly with this pick ever since we made it. But so far, no changes in the scoreboard, as we have 2 picks and 2 sweeps up to this stage. So now we move into our third match of the night. Kia will be swapping belts. And y'all both get to enjoy a little fun on this one, as we are going to move to the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles being defended, at least on our show, for the first time. Of course, we do have both of them, and let me try to get a good shot. Here we go. Now we got both of you in there. But the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles being defended by the current champions, the Usos, defending the honor of the bloodline, and the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, defending against their bitter rivals from Raw in the Street Profits. The Profits, of course, being multiple-time champions themselves. They've held both of these respective titles separately, but now they will battle for all the gold for a chance for the Street Profits to try to bring that back to Monday Night Raw. You know, I don't really think there's much to say. The lineage of both of these teams is fantastic. We all know the storyline, the bloodline is hit. The Usos going for history here, because if they were to win, assuming that they don't defend the tag titles again between now and SummerSlam, which is not expected, they will cross over a year as champions. No Smackdown team has ever done that. So, you know, a chance for them to do so. Hey, we're clapping. They ain't there yet. But we will, you know, already the longest reigning Smackdown champions of all time. Now, of course, holding the Raw titles at the same time. But the Street Profits being no slouches themselves, this may steal the night. Kia, start us off.
I like how we segue into think this could be the one that steals the night. Honestly, look at both teams. Look at both tag teams. This is not the first time that I've seen these teams compete against one another. It's just the first time that the Usos have had both titles. Usually that you have to think, you know, the titles are split between 2 teams, but for them to have both on their shoulder, it says a lot about nothing against Street Profits, but they trust clearly. They trust Roman, they trust Jimmy, Jay, they trust the bloodline, they trust them to get it done. And not only that, but they make the titles relevant. They make it fun. They can be faces, they can be heels. And right now, it depends on who they're facing. They're the strongest heels I honestly think that we have in, you know, tag team that's, you know, behind Roman Reigns, that is. So honestly, now, my perspective is I love both teams, but I honestly know that I think I've seen a bit of an evil glare, an evil streak behind Montez's eyes. I might be crazy more than normal, but I feel like there is a spin on what is going to happen. So I feel like he could pull out a mean streak to get the job done for them to bring the titles back to Monday Night Raw. But it's just me, but I also know these two can be evil and they can pull out a mean streak that could actually keep their titles on them. So it is what it is. It'll be a fun match. I'm going to be hoopling and hollering and screaming for both teams, even though I'm only going to pick one.
Alyssa?
Alright, so I will kind of piggyback off what she said, was seeing like a different side of the Street Profits. Mm-hmm. I've definitely seen it too. One thing I can say is, even though they've been evolving, so have they. Every time they've come up too. And I know they've been looking like they've been competing on the shows, but I'm sorry, the reality is when you've been with the Tribal Chief.
Look at me show off the shirt. Kia showed off hers earlier. I mean, come on.
Come on now, look at it.
You already know what it's all about. They really need to update that shirt. There's more gold and more money on that table now.
I know. And when they do, I'm going to get it. Best believe.
Just our money will be on that table.
Swear. But yeah, I think they're going to give them a really good run for their money. I think it's going to come down to the point where we're like, old junk, chill. I think it's going to come down to like this point where it's like, ooh, I think they're close. Like, I'm being there biting my nails. But they always pull it out. They always do it. So I'm not going to go against them.
And, I'm just going to segue, into it to get to my pick, because I go first this time. This to me is your match of the night. Yes, the Money in the Bank ladder matches are going to be entertaining because of the value of it, but the reality is, you look at what these two teams can do, I don't think there's much debate here. You are looking at the best two tag teams in WWE at the moment.
Exactly.
And I don't even think I really think there's a clear separation between them. I think right now the Street Profits are the only team that is even remotely on the Usos level right now. You could have, potentially you tried to run a good storyline with Nakamura and Boogs before they got hurt. I think Orton's injury really derailed a possible run with Orton and Riddle. And it's forced Riddle to have to go in a different direction. More on him here in a little while. But right now, when it comes to just pure tag team wrestling, these are the best two that the company has to offer. I could see this being the first of maybe like a trilogy between the three. Very similar to what Orton and Riddle got, where this will definitely not be the only time we see this match happen. This has SummerSlam rematch written all over it. This has Survivor Series written all over it. The reality is, if you want to talk about the best tag team wrestlers in WWE, maybe even in the world, in any promotion, these are the two teams you're talking about. It's the Usos and it's the Street Profits. But now it comes down to brass tacks. You got to make a choice, and the reality is, from my point of view, it's the Usos getting it done, because the Usos, day in and day out, have found a way, by hook or by crook, to find ways to keep the gold in the hands of the Bloodline. It won't stop here. Montez, and now am I sitting here saying that the Street Profits have no chance? Absolutely not. This is absolutely a coin toss. But when the lights have been on the brightest for the last 365 days, the Usos have answered the bell every single time. One way or another, they have found a way to get the job done. It doesn't stop here at Money in the Bank. The Usos retain. We go to Kia?
I honestly am going to go ahead and take a different perspective on that. I have to sit here and think. You have to think about this past Monday, when these two teams were on the same show at the same time. Who did Cena come to and let them know? Had to kind of revive their, you've done this and you've done that and you've done this and I believe in you and so forth on. Cena is a class in all his own. I feel like it's going to be the Street Profits that remember those words that Cena said and will go ahead and will get the job done. Now, do I think it's going to be a back and forth? Of course I do. The Usos are going to give the Street Profits all they have, and that's literally, they're going to throw tables, ladders, chairs, briefcases, knowing them at the Street Profits. But I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like the Street Profits, there's a strong possibility on my end that they're going to get it done. And there's nothing against the Usos because we know how much I love them, but right now my money is literally sitting on the Street Profits.
So she's going Profits. Alyssa?
Yep. I gotta stick true to what I know. They ain't failed me yet. Going to Usos.
Sweet, simple, and to the point.
There we go.
And as I said, this is truly the one that really, as you watch the voting come through, and of course the voting is not official on our YouTube community until the bell rings, so you've still got time, and this vote could be one that's actually close enough that it could potentially flip between now and the actual time of the match. But at the time of this recording, it is 59% in favor of the Usos, but the reality is that's not that much different in terms of, just a handful of votes go the other way, and that vote could flip. So this one by no means is locked in terms of the OTRAs are taking the Usos. If the Street Profits get a late push at the end towards, again, it's whatever it is at the time that the bell rings is what they officially go with. So if you haven't put in your vote, you've still got time to go to our community site on YouTube and look at our community page and cast your vote. Moving on to our fourth match and what is our final title match of the pay-per-view, at least scheduled. Don't know about any cash-ins or anything, but we move back into the women's division. Speaking of Montez Ford, let's discuss his wife for a little bit. As the Raw Women's Champion, the baddest, the fastest, the strongest, the flattest, thank you, Dewdrop, the BEST of WWE, and the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, will defend at Money in the Bank against a woman who literally calls herself Money in Carmella. Carmella winning a fatal 5-way after making her return back to WWE, stepping away, of course, to get married and looking wonderful in the process. But now she's back to do what she does best, and that is entertain the masses and the people who claim to love the most beautiful woman in all of WWE. I believe that's up for debate, but I digress. But now it's all about the gold. The time for talk is over. Can Carmella's truly cash the check that she's trying to write and dethrone the EST, or is Bianca simply too much? Alyssa, you'll start this one off.
Well, if we're going to cash checks, that bad boy is going to bounce. With respect.
You heard that, right?
I'm sorry, let me say it again because there was a little frog in my throat. If we're talking about cashing checks, that bad boy is going to bounce. So when it comes to Bianca, I've learned like really not to go against her. I was gonna say something that was gonna completely contradict what I was gonna say, but then I remembered who it was. So I'm gonna save that because we're not making jokey jokes. So all I'm gonna say is Bianca is the EST. She's the fastest, the best, the strongest. Everything is
the prettiest over her opponent.
I'm just saying, like, look at this. I mean, come on now.
We did zoom-ins earlier on other folks. Hang on, let me get in here on this. I'm serious. That's a great render, but I'm sorry, WWE. With all due respect, it's a beautiful render, but you've used the same one 3 pay-per-views in a row. Let's get an updated picture. Use that one from Raw the other night because that was a great one. Carmella's was great that night too. But these are 2 great renders. But with respects, you've used the same Bianca one 3 pay-per-views in a row. Let's go with something else. But anyway, continue.
Let's get some updates. But no, in all seriousness, when it comes to this matchup right here, I don't see a need for change. But even if it was change, I don't think Carmella would be the lady to do it. I'm sorry. With respects. Yeah, girl. It's a cute nose ring, though.
This is one that I think isn't going to take very long to go over here. I'll give my thoughts. I'm going to kind of ride with what it is. We're getting to you, Kia. Calm down. We always circle this way. But this one's pretty fast. I mean, Carmella just came back. You needed a placeholder, honestly, for this match. Because think about who the other people were in the match. You had Becky, you had Asuka, you had Liv Morgan, and you had Alexa Bliss, all 4 who ended up in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Carmella was the one person that was kind of outstanding at the time, so you ultimately needed someone else to fall in and to kind of take that spot. You need to give Bianca an opponent. You found her one, and that's no disrespect against Carmella. She laid out her accolades on Raw the other night. A former SmackDown Women's Champion, a former Women's Tag Team Champion, a two-time Money in the Bank contract winner. The details of that will be left out. Absolutely chinless accusations. But ultimately, in the end, her accolades do speak for herself. She knows how to find ways to win big money matches. So, we'll see if she can find a way to top the EST in this one. Kia?
Really, you can find ways to top everything that you've done over your career. It's been great and everything, but you've had to have help. I don't see Bianca getting help anywhere. Bianca depends on herself because she's the strongest, quickest, fastest, smartest. And if we're talking about prettiest, that's a great render. But you've been using this one for the last 3 times. That's a pretty render too. All this right here, that's makeup. That's cover up. Let's not go ahead and hit on the fact that you've been gone. And who's been putting all the work in? The EST. She's been here day in, day out. The strongest one. First one in, last one out. And the fact that you decided to run up on her while she was doing an interview.
The on-timest.
Exactly. The one that's out the lastest. It is what it is.
I think we're stretching at this point.
It doesn't matter. The fact is, you ran up on my girl. You ran up on Bianca, the one I can tell you for a fact. She may not have seen it coming, but the fact that you had to run up on her and do it behind her back, what does that say about you? You can't get stuff done in her face. You got to plan to do it behind her back where she couldn't see you because she was in the middle of an interview. If you pull that type of stuff again, I guarantee you come up behind her, the first thing that's going to catch you is that braid that she's going to whip around. She's going to strike you with it. Okay? So what I'm saying at this point, it's great to have you here, but you can go back home and enjoy your married life and let the real woman do her job. Keep her title.
Pulling no damn punches tonight.
I'm really
no kidding. She I almost feel like this one's maybe a little bit personal, and we didn't even have to bring race into this once, but it wasn't necessary. The work speaks for itself.
And the fact that you said your money, that's great and all. Them looks is what's money. You, not so much.
So I don't think this one's going to take very long.
Bianca.
And I am Bianca as well. And we'll show the OTRA's numbers here, but I can't imagine we're going to get much surprise here. And, absolutely not. 89% going with Bianca Belair. I really didn't see this one. I don't realistically believe anyone thinks. Now, of course, if you're a Vegas voter, and remember, of course, this is in Vegas this year, maybe this is the one where you take maybe those 3,000 to 1 odds on Carmella, and maybe you hope for a disqualification or something. But no, I don't see any scenario where, at least not by Carmella, I don't see a scenario where Bianca does not walk out champion. Maybe a victim of a cash-in, but it's not going to be because Carmella beat her. And speaking of cash-ins, we now move into our final 2 matches, what we consider to be the co-main events, and those are the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. We will start in the women's division, which of course will be for the white Money in the Bank briefcase, held over here to the right by the lovely Miss Kia. More to the men's one here in a little bit, but we do have 7 women competing for the women's Money in the Bank contract. Of course, the contract nets the winner an opportunity over the next calendar year to challenge any women's champion or women's tag team champion of their choosing anytime, anywhere for the titles. Use it appropriately. As so far, every woman that has attempted to use her Money in the Bank contract has succeeded. In fact, we were talking about it in our preview just beforehand, that so far only 1 woman has ever won Money in the Bank and held the briefcase for over 24 hours, and that was the first champion, Carmella. Every other champion has used it inside of 24 hours, including twice on the same night. So it is very well possible that one of these 7 women not only are going to win the contract, but could be walking out either Raw or SmackDown Women's Champion at the end of the night. The competitors, of course, going from left to right here. Big time Becky Lynch, the Goddess Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, the returning Lacey Evans, Asuka, and Shotzi. It's a lot of women to preview here, and honestly, any of them deserve to be champion. But we'll start with Alyssa. How do you see this one playing out?
All right, so so I see a lot of people, and I can see this going a lot of different ways. I feel like you're gonna have good grief. I was gonna say you're gonna have one person that's just gonna pick everybody off, but
ladder match, that's kind of tough because even if you do manage to succeed, you still got work to do.
I mean, maybe there will be like some beefs in here, but not really. Like I can see them 2 going after each other, and these 2 going after each other, and then I feel like
everybody hates Becky right now.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't hate you hate her because you can't beat her.
Well, I mean, yeah, but good grief. I don't know. So I feel like there will be some internal beefs in there, and then...
the whole everyone for themselves thing, especially when you see what's on the line.
That's true.
Because essentially, at least on the women's side, there have been some failed attempts on the men's side. So far, there has yet to be a failed women's cash-in. So essentially, winning this match guarantees you will be champion at some stage over the next calendar year. I mean, that's the ultimate goal of being a superstar in WWE, is to be champion. And right now, the Money in the Bank contract for the women's side has a 100% success rate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say on this,
Just
a lot of options.
Hold for your pick.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my viewpoint as well, is a lot of the ways. I mean, you look at each of these women, and as I said, I really could realistically see just about everybody in this match being champion, because either they've already been champion in the past before in terms of 4 of them, and then the other 3 who haven't been champion either should be or are gonna be at some point in the very near future. So it really just comes down to which is the name that WWE is ready to put back on the side plates of their title belts, and whichever one you end up choosing, at what stage do you do it? Is this a situation where you see someone like Bianca Belair or Ronda Rousey? Do you potentially, are you ready for one of them to drop the titles now, or is this something to where the winner kind of stalks the champions for a little while and then picks their right moment? Kia?
I honestly feel like, and I know we talked about it before we went on the air, but you have to think in all aspects or in all perspective. I could see it being any one of these ladies, honestly, and the two frontrunners in my mind, but this is just opinionated, would be Raquel, only because I feel like she's the strong. So if she is going to pick anybody off, or if she's going to pick people off, I think she would be the one literally climbing the ladder and actually throwing people off or throwing people out of the ring to get what she wants. But in honesty, I could also see a fierce Lacey Evans, who has come back from her pregnancy and everything else and resting and recovering, coming back, doing what she needs to do. And look at her. She's not, nothing against Lacey. It's not classy. It's not feminine. It's, I'm strong. I'm feminine. I'm a mother. I'm a military. I'm a warrior. I've got this. I'm going to do this. That's the mentality that she's come back with. And honestly, I really do love it. So for me, you have to think about it is what it is. Now, Big Time Bex, everybody in this match, maybe minus Shotzi, is probably going to go ahead and gun to get her out with a quickness. Asuka most definitely. I also see, Alexa. I don't know if she's going to pull something from Lily to give her some help on this, but I see Lacey potentially, or Alexa, being able to be one of the few that actually, does what she needs to do. Liv, I feel like I don't know why we haven't seen a title on her, but I feel like it's overdue and it's about time. Her time is now, like she stated to Alexa, and it is what it is. Asuka, I honestly, probably one of the strongest people I probably would not pick for. And that's only because I feel like we could get someone else in there to do it. It is what it is.
I just, summing it up here, again, you brought up the great points of so many of these women, each one having their own unique story, some of them being former champions that are ready to go back on top, others waiting for that first real chance to be champion. First of all, can we say something about the renders? And I'm going to especially give a shout out to Shotzi's down on the end. I mean, that is an absolutely just amazing render of Shotzi down at the end. That is a very beautiful woman. Asuka's is fantastic. They really did a great job. And the only one, of course, not sitting there looking, happy as a clam is Becky's. But with the story and the character she's playing right now, it fits her motif perfectly with the orange eyeshadow to match the hair color and everything. I think each one of these was fantastically done. But now, of course, we're going to get to our pick. For those of you who have watched the previous seasons, Money in the Bank contract matches are 3-point picks because you have more people to choose from, but these are not just your standard get a point if you get it. If you end up choosing the correct person, you get 3 points, but ultimately each person is going to get to pick 3 people in this match, ranking them from who they believe is the most likely to win, and then their second choice, and then their third, with you getting 3 if your top person wins, 2 if your second person wins, and then 1 if your third person wins. So essentially each person's going to get 3 picks. With that being said, Alyssa's going to open up the voting on this one because we Kia unfortunately kind of lost her first point turn on the last one because we all just went Bianca so quickly. But I think that one was pretty obvious. It's just the luck of the draw. So Alyssa, you get 3 choices as to who you think, and we need them in order.
All right. So first I'm going to go with Becky.
Then as your top choice?
Yeah, Becky's going to be my top choice. It's just because, she hasn't had her chance to get that one-on-one back at Bianca, and I think that'd be a great way to be like, what?
Especially with SummerSlam next.
Exactly. So I think that'd be a good way to go. Second, I'm going to go with Liv, because she has had that push since I've been here. And then third, I'm going to go with
Raquel, okay. For mine, I'm actually going to go Lacey Evans as my one. I think that she was due the opportunity to win the championship prior to her opportunity to go home to be a mom, very similar to how Becky had to bow out to be, to become a mom a few years ago. And, they wasted no time putting Becky right back into the storyline. Heck, she won it on the night she came back, just under a year ago. So, I really do feel like the moment is right for Lacey to get her shot at it. So I'm actually going to take her as my one. I am going to go with Liv Morgan as my 2 as well. I do feel like it's the perfect opportunity to finally put that title on Liv. I do hate the fact that they would potentially do it by cash-in because it always makes whoever wins the championship look a little weak. because of the circumstances of how they want it. But if it puts the belt on her, I don't think a lot of people are going to complain. And then for my third, it's right now kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to go Alexa Bliss as my third. WWE has proven time and time again that Alexa works. They've also already teased Lily getting a little miniature Money in the Bank briefcase as like an accessory to the doll, which they could sell in the shop and everything else. So, I can see a toss-up between either Alexa or Becky, but I will go with Alexa as my official third. Kia?
Okay, so my first official pick is going to be, I'm going to have to say it's going to be Lacey, only because, again, she's come back and she hasn't proven that she can't do it. If anything, I think she's probably one of the fiercest, most strongest women in this match. My second is going to go ahead and be Raquel, because I feel like, why not? She's literally done everything you've asked her since she's been on the main roster, and she did very well in NXT, working and being one of those strongest women to be a workhorse down there in NXT. And my third pick, I can see big time Bex actually getting it done, and that is officially my third pick, which to me it's a surprise. People would have probably said that would have been my first or second pick, but 1, 2, 3.
Oh, so our apologies to Asuka and also to one of our followers, Shotzi. First real big opportunity, but we love you, sweetheart, but sorry, our money can't go with you this time. Now, again, the OTRA is making their selections known here. Of course, these are subject to change, especially with there being 3 official picks. But as of the time of this recording, right now, that is where things stand, with right now a heavy majority going with Liv Morgan as their one pick. 62% of the vote right now is going with Liv. But as you can see, those second and third choices behind are very, very close right now, with currently Alexa Bliss sitting in the second slot and Lacey Evans sitting in the third. Obviously, votes are going for each of the other ladies as well, so there are plenty of opportunities for you to be able to change potentially that second and third pick. Not sure with that many choices if Liv's going to get caught for the number 1, but of course, all the votes matter, and you very well could change up, the choices here, especially when it comes to that second or third pick. So, again, go to our community site, make your pick known for who you think is going to win the women's Money in the Bank. And then moving to our last match of the night, it's, of course, the other Money in the Bank ladder match, held by that briefcase being held by the lovely Miss Alyssa on our left.
There we go.
One job. But, of course, the green briefcase, I miss the days when they used to change the color of it every year, find a way to take another 100 of my dollars. But this one right now is scheduled to have 7 people as well. But as you will clearly see, the great vacant warrior down on the far right side holding on to one of the spots is right now at the time of this recording. Only 6 of the spots have been filled. 1 mystery spot remains. The last time, of course, a mystery spot, we know who showed up at WrestleMania. I wonder if they'll pull that stunt twice in 1 year. But going from left to right for the men's Money in the Bank match, you've got Riddle, Seth Freakin Rollins, the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre, the Nigerian Giant Omos, the Celtic Warrior Sheamus, and the what do they call it? The Brothers Us, Honorary Us, Sami Zayn, and then of course vacant down on the end. We don't know who that's going to be, but hey, he is an available vote, whomever that ends up being. So if you want to take who's ever behind the mystery curtain, go for it. But you look at this. So many world championships between several of these folks. Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Freakin Rollins, all multiple-time world champions. They've all won WrestleMania main events. You look at folks like Sami Zayn, Riddle, and Omos have all been through their wars over the last year or so. And then, of course, leaving in the mystery person, there's so many different combinations. And, of course, the mystery also of how will the cash-in happen, because right now, the question being is that if the person wins, do they have to go after Roman Reigns? And if so, because right now as the only world champion, and then also is it only for one title or is it for both? So we'll see how it all goes here. Once again, a 3-point pick. Choose your top 3. But let's preview first. We'll start over with Kia.
So anyway, as you can clearly see, there are 6 men with the mystery person. I don't know who the mystery person is. Clearly, it could be Cena because you can't really see him. And by the way, congratulations. congratulations on your 20 years being here. I stepped in on the 3rd year to start watching.
Showing that shirt.
Yeah. I stepped in
it's an old school shirt too.
Exactly.
There you go.
Stepped in on the 3rd year to watch you, but honestly, all 6 men, in my opinion, could potentially win Money in the Bank. I see it being Riddle only because not only is he doing it for himself, but he also is doing it for Randy, who right now is hurt. Maybe you get some rest and rest up and have a speedy recovery. I could see the Drip God doing it. I can see the Drip God winning. There is just something behind.
Can we talk for a second on his snake jacket?
I'm loving it. I feel like, honestly, if he was a woman, he'd be the best fashionista a girl could have, honestly.
Let's not joke about the wardrobe. Let's face it, him and Becky are sharing a wardrobe in most nights when he's out there.
I saw her glasses on him the other day. I was like, I know I've seen those. Don't play with me. I've seen those.
That's a way to save some money. Hey, you're raising a little one. That's a way to save a little money. You both just wear the same stuff. But I digress. Kia, continue.
I can see again Seth winning the Money in the Bank. Honestly, with him being who he is, he has the mentality to win it, because I feel like he would be the one who would outthink. While everybody else is playing checkers, this man over here is playing chess, clearly. So I feel like he is looking at move A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I feel like he could potentially. Drew, on the other hand, the Scottish Warrior, who could actually
settle down.
who could be the one that climbs the ladder and gets there. I honestly would love to see him and Omos go at it, as being 2 of the tallest men in this match, nothing against everybody else. Omos, who has had MVP in his corner now, is MVP going to be there on the outside, coaching him along to, tell him what to do. Honestly, I don't think the man needs a ladder. The man's a giant. He could just reach up and grab the thing.
Jump.
Advantage.
Advantage, height. Sheamus, I don't know what to say besides
former winner.
He's here, and you're right.
We saw his cash in.
He's a former winner. It is what it is. The Monterey Usos, I think he's just kissing butt at this point. I feel like, honestly, if he wins, it's going to be something behind the scenes where Paul Heyman has done his due diligence, Roman or the Usos have done their due diligence, but I'm going to take it, putting the mystery person in front of Sami to win. Whoever that may be. It might be Cena, it might be Cody, may come back and actually...
Former champion James Ellsworth?
No,
that's
right. Not double chin. No.
That's right.
No
chin.
It's
no chin.
No.
Yeah, that's right. I just made 2 chinless jokes in one episode. Come on, pay me.
No, don't bring it back, please. But either way, any one of these men, because honestly, you have to think, Sami has that mentality to be evil, have an evil streak, and he can go for the gusto too. So let me not count him out. So.
Alyssa?
Well, I don't know. I just see all the different storylines and all the different places they can go with all of this.
One of the joys of a match like this is now you take all these great storylines and fuse them in together.
And it's just which one are they gonna pick? It's I see it railroad tracks, where they connect and unconnect. Yeah. So there's that. There are so many people on this thing. This is where I'm gonna struggle, y'all. If you can't tell, making decisions is not.
Well, the joy for you is you actually will be picking last in this one, so you've got a little time to think about it if you're not quite ready yet. But unless you have more preview, I'll go ahead and get to my pick.
I'm good.
Is this a 3-point?
Yeah, this is another 3.1 as well. So again, same as it was last time. 3 for whoever you feel is the person you are gonna pick to win. But then you get 2 more picks behind them with 2 points if you get your second choice, and then 1 for your third. With me going first. As much as I want to go with the upset of one of the others, I got to use my top pick here. I got to pick Rollins. First of all, look at the main event of SummerSlam. It's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, last man standing, which they've already made multiple mentions that they're already hyping up the fact that that's likely where the cash in is going to happen, because they've already said whichever one survives, is going to be in no condition to go. So you got to believe that likely after Lesnar and Reigns battle it out, whichever one of them is somehow literally left standing, the cash-in's likely happening pretty close after with any of these 6 who's going to be fresh, and I really don't think it matters which person it is out of the 7, that person will obviously hold a huge advantage over Brock or over Reigns if they've just had to survive last man standing. But I've got to use Seth Rollins only because let's just call it Heist of the Century Part 2. Because remember, it was Lesnar and Reigns that Rollins interrupted with his first cash-in, so why not do it again at SummerSlam? For my second choice, I'm actually going to go with Omos as my second choice. It just makes sense with you. You know, granted, they let him take some L's against the buzzsaw that is Bobby Lashley, but really it was not so much about Omos needing to drop, but more along the lines of needing to make Lashley look strong again after MVP did his blindside after WrestleMania. But Omos, can you picture the idea? It doesn't matter who the champion is. You've got a dude who's 7 foot plus, 400 plus pounds, giant, but also can move at the speed he moves, and he's going to come in at 100% against an exhausted champion. Even, you know, Lashley and others at their absolute best have not been able to take out Omos. I mean, him walking in there with Money in the Bank, it's an easy move to be able to make, and hopefully they do a better job if that's the route they want to go. And for my third pick, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. It just makes sense for Drew to potentially hold on to Money in the Bank. You know, I could have easily gone with Riddle here. Something about it is I just feel like the Bloodline, because, again, no disqualifications, I really do feel like the Bloodline's going to make sure that Riddle doesn't win this match. So, you know, my money would lean more towards Drew. So I'm going Seth, Omos, and Drew in that order.
Does your money bend or does it fold?
It don't jiggle. It folds.
Oh,
there's our there's one our copyright.
Well,
damn.
There we go.
No monetization for Money in the Bank. Damn. Who you got, Kia?
In all retrospect, my number 1 is going to be Omos, only because of the height. And the first time I picked him, I got points. So it's a really huge height advantage against everyone else for him to climb the ladder or just, hey, pull it and get it.
For those who didn't follow last season, in Season 2, she picked Omos in a 5-point battle royal. Omos ended up winning. And when she only bested me by a single point in Season 2, those 5 ended up directly being the difference. So Omos has done well for her in the past, so I can definitely see where she's going for the gusto here.
So that would be my number 1. My number 2 would be the Drip God, only because I could see him going up against whoever the target. He would actually run in and actually wait till the person's tired and absolutely beat for him to go ahead and cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase to cash in. And my third pick is going to be whoever the mystery person is. I don't know if it's going to be Cena.
Wild card.
I don't know if it's going to be Cody. I don't know if it's going to be Cena. I don't know if it's going to be The Rock. You know, at that given time, that man can come out of nowhere, as fine as he is, and actually run a whole entire pay-per-view. Pecs,
might be me.
Bald head, everything. So I feel like it can be anybody. So my mystery pick right here is my number 3.
And now you're out of time. You don't get to think about it anymore.
My indecisiveness. Here we go.
Go for it.
All right, so for my first pick, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm struggling between the two. They're going to be 1 or 2 either way. My first pick is going to be Seth, but it's not for the reasons that he said. I'm thinking about that whole long losing streak he just went through with Cody. It's time to reward him. He had to be dirt.
That's a good perspective. I didn't even think about that.
What? I'm talking about 1, 2, 3. I said, God dang. I said, that is crazy.
He did what the company asked him to do to make Cody look as strong as possible. Exactly. You're right. Reward the man.
Give him Money in the Bank. Now,
that
for
one.
Number two, I'm going to go Omos. I'm sorry. That man is huge. There's no other way around that. I'm sorry. He could jump. That man can sneeze and that thing gonna fall down. There's no way. I'm so sorry. And then for number 3.
She's trying not to laugh over there. Look at this mess.
For number 3, I'm stuck between 2 of them. Like, I want to go with Drew, but I know they're gonna use him like later on down the line for the September paper.
Clash of the Castle.
Yeah, they're gonna use him for that. So I kind of want to go with the mystery card too. I think that's gonna be my pick.
The mystery?
Yeah.
Again, the joy is you basically get literally anyone who's not one of those 6 people.
Exactly. Now, we need to have a chat. Look, man, I'm going to Money in the Bank.
Hang on, we gonna zoom in here.
We all know Alyssa does not do pyro. So, Cody, I need you to keep you and your peck at home, okay? You're great. I love you. You did great. Love's a strong word, but you know.
The right word, but still.
But I need you to stay at home, honey, because my earplugs are only going to do so much, and you're going to have me in there crying like a baby. Why do you need 3 sets of pyro? Explain. You know, let's add him. Let's add him, and you tell me why you need 3 sets of pyro. I'm good with 2.
Everybody, really, you heard him. Everybody at Cody Rhodes asking why did you need 3 pyros?
In all seriousness, though, you know, my third choice is going to be them. Nothing against you other guys. Like, you know, my honorary Uso there. But, no. So, yeah, third one. Let's go with John Cena. You know, he has no pyro. He going to come out there. I'll go crazy. They'll go crazy. We all going to go crazy.
I'll be over here crying like a baby.
Exactly.
Like that's on Monday.
That's what we love to do. We love to see it. Not you in tears, but, you know, John Cena.
And you know, Cena comes out and wins, she'll be in tears.
Exactly. He had that little play where he was like, I don't know. So I'm just like, you know what, you cannot know on paper on Primo Live Midday. Thank you and good night.
Moving to the OTRAs again, these are not official and obviously subject to switch depending upon the votes. But right now the OTRAs leaning heavily with Seth Rollins. He currently has 60% of the vote. Drew McIntyre kind of solidly holding on to that second spot right now with 27%. And I really thought that folks going with the mystery one, 2 votes in here for the mystery for the third, but apparently the OTRA's kind of leaning that way as well. Maybe they know something we don't. And if I'm Omos or Riddle or Sheamus or Sami, you know, maybe I feel a little disrespected by this. That, you know, basically they're like, we don't even know who the other person is, and we still will pick them over you. But hey, isn't that what Vegas is all about, though? You know, running, sometimes betting on the odds or sometimes just taking a shot at something. So, you know, hey, that's what it's all about. But either way, there you go. But that brings us to an end of our Top Rope Spoilers. Thank you so much for everyone joining us. Again, if you haven't checked out our community page for our polls, make your vote known. And check out our new memberships, opportunities to be able to get our content early. Not that content, although I'm sure, you know, maybe the members will want folks to get in a burping contest or something. But
sorry.
Either way, if you're going to be in Vegas this upcoming Saturday, be sure to take a look out in there. Alyssa's going to be there. She'll be wearing her On the Ring apron jersey. So make sure you stop in, say hey, take some pictures. I promise you she's very friendly. And for those of you also watching, send a shout out to our young one. The reason Alyssa's going is because the screamer that you hear in the other room, who's very excited to be back there, turns 4. So an early happy birthday to the little one, but he will be celebrating his birthday by watching Money in the Bank as well that evening. But either way,
when was the last time they all saw him? Wasn't he like 1 when everybody saw him when we were just getting started?
Do we need to do a quick special on Saturday before the pay-per-view starts? We'll put a little hat on him.
Yeah.
He can put the briefcase on his head like he does those styrofoam boxes at the all-you-can-eat restaurant.
Just open it up.
You're gonna wear it like a hat. Great. Either way, thanks so much for joining us. Y'all have a great night. Enjoy Money in the Bank, and see y'all later.
Peace out.
Peace. Bye.
Okay, bye.